Hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning in. Today, our guest is my esteemed colleague from the University of the Incarnate Word's Osteopathic School of Medicine, Dr. Leticia Vargas. Dr. Vargas has shown a commitment to advancing the UIW mission in many ways, including her teaching in the classroom, her leadership of international service learning, her supportive community service at the community level, and also her medical practice. As an OBGYN, Dr. Vargas has provided compassionate care for women for over 15 years, and she currently practices as an obstetrics hospitalist at Metropolitan Methodist Hospital. At UIW, she serves as one of the core site directors for our Osteopathic School of Medicine, in addition to teaching her courses. Dr. Vargas is a graduate of Incarnate Word College, graduating in 1995, the year before the college becomes the University of the Incarnate Word. She went on to earn her MD at UT Health Science Center, San Antonio, and completed her OBGYN residency at University Hospital in 2004. She is currently a fellow of the American Congress of Obstetricians and Gynecologists, and prior to coming to UIW, she was a National Health Scholar and an assistant clinical professor for the Department of Family Medicine and OBGYN at the University of Texas Health Science Center at San Antonio, educating both medical students and residents. She later went on to Laredo to finish her National Health Service obligation and worked at a federally qualified health center. In 2009, Dr. Vargas completed an MBA with an emphasis in healthcare at Texas Tech. She returns here in 2012 and begins practicing on San Antonio's South Side. She is passionate about working with underserved and under-resourced communities and has worked at Communicare Health Center on San Antonio's East Side. She currently serves as president of Quijotes of San Antonio, a medical mission group that for years has been a wonderful partner of UIW to help provide medical care to the people of Oaxaca through an international community service and service learning program in collaboration with the UIW Etling Center. Dr. Vargas is fascinated with people, culture, and travels around the world. Furthermore, she enjoys doing community outreach and recruitment of preceptors and being a connector of services. Leticia, what a pleasure it is to have you as our guest today.
Thank you so much, Rafael. Thank you for the invitation. It's been an honor to be here and participate.
You're so welcome. I want to start by thanking you for your recent support of our Leaders of the Americas Speaker Series a few weeks ago. I haven't had an opportunity to touch base with you since that day, and I do want to get your feedback. But before you comment, let me quickly explain for the benefit of our audience that we had Nobel Peace Laureate Rigoberta Menchú Tum, the great Rigoberta Menchú Tum, here at the UIW campus on October 4th, where she spoke to hundreds of students, faculty, administrators, and community members over the course of a full day of presentations and meetings arranged by the Lewis Center. The final event of the day was an evening program at our concert hall for the San Antonio community, and we had a reception prior to the speaking portion of the program where several UIW groups set up informational tables to tell guests about international projects that align with Dr. Menchú Tum's work. Dr. Vargas represented the UIW School of Osteopathic Medicine at one of the tables and specifically spoke about the school's Guatemala medical mission trip. So tell me, Leticia, how did the table go for you, and what did you think of the program that followed?
Oh, it was absolutely fantastic. I mean, it was a lifetime experience to be able to actually be in the same room with Dr. Rigoberta Menchú Tum. It was her insight, her humbleness, her ability to continue to work with people who are oppressed and be a voice for them is very much empowering to me to keep doing the work. And, you know, our students had the pleasure and the ability to be able to go to Guatemala this past year. This trip is planned by Dr. Shima, who's up in the Dallas area, and Dr. Hadley, and they allowed us to go with them and really take care of the people of Guatemala. So we did have a wonderful experience for our students, a lot of service learning, a great experience, you know, really getting in with the people, and our table was successful. Many people walked through, asked questions, but, you know, you just can't take that experience away from students and their learning when they're actually out into the community and seeing what needs are not being met and being able to provide service.
Absolutely. It was really nice that we had, Dr. Menchutum she was so happy to see that two of the tables that we had there, of tables of, UIW international work were having to do with experiences in Guatemala. So I know that that really made her just kind of feel another connection to UIW. And and of course you've done that trip that you took this summer and that you helped lead. That was a little bit different than work you've done in the past with the Quijotes of San Antonio. And I want you to tell us a little bit more about that work that you do with the Quijotes of San Antonio. Why did you decide to get involved? And tell us a little bit about your leadership position now with Quijotes.
Yes, absolutely. So Quijotes of San Antonio started in San Antonio in 1989, and it was initially started by several physicians, a nurse, hospital administration, Rotary Club, and the Sisters of Incarnate Word, CCVI sisters. They were the initial ones involved, and we went initially to Mexico City. Now, I didn't get involved until 2001. And so the way that I got involved with this was that one of my friends and colleagues who actually went to Incarnate Word as well, she participated. Her dad was one of the beginner physicians that participated in this. And she made the initial invite. And then after going home and talking to my mom, I was like, oh, I know Dr. Riojas. He took care of you when you were really sick. And so I felt a need to go and be able to provide services. So, that came from the sisters from being at UIW, this service mission stewardship that we were taught from the beginning. You have to do community service hours to graduate from UIW. And so they really taught us how to be community oriented and driven. And so through the years, I've been going. We've had some stops. COVID was one, and then when they had a couple of political unrest, and Mexicana went bankrupt during the years that we did not go to Oaxaca, but ever since we've been there. And so it's so successful in so many ways. One is the participation of local health providers, pharmacists, dentists, physicians, nurses. And we have included all the health professional schools of University of Incarnate Word since the beginning. It started with pharmacy, optometry, and this year we were able to take 4 students from the medical school as well as some of the faculty. So we do interprofessional education while there. And then since we have such a great relationship with the people of Mexico, we also involve their students and their physicians, their physical therapy, their medical students and nursing schools also come and support the program. So it's a great international collaboration to provide the best care for the people of Oaxaca, Mexico.
That's fantastic. The international, you touch on so many important things that are really kind of underline the essence of the way I see it of the University Incarnate Word. The sisters, first of all, the impact of the sisters on what we do and how we do it at the university, the mission driven, from our very start as a college and as a university. That's always been such an important part of who we are. And the work that you do really exemplifies that. And then the international part, that's another really beautiful fundamental essence of UIW is our internationality. And again, from the beginning, the sisters, right, came over from France, right, for the purpose of serving underserved communities in the outbreak of cholera. So it's like the work that you're doing is so close to the foundation of UIW, and I love it. So yeah, the international piece is so important, and then the connection with Mexico. We are, of course, as you know, our 2 campuses in Mexico, in Mexico City. You mentioned Mexico City with your start with the Quijotes, and then of course in Irapuato, Guanajuato. So much of what we do is international, but also it's our work locally is so important, right? It's not just international. We are thinking and acting globally, but very much acting locally as well. And for sure you do that. You give back to the community Leticia, here in San Antonio, where you know the allure of international travel and going to the beautiful Oaxaca and Mexico City. That there's, in addition to serving, right, the communities there, it's great. It's great to travel and go see new cultures and see, you know, eat wonderful food and see new architecture and just be in a new place. So that allure of the international travel, it's just also part of the international service experience. But aside from that work that you do, you also work here locally and give back to the community here in San Antonio. So I wanted you to tell us a little bit about that work and what is it that pulls you to help underserved communities here in our great city of San Antonio.
Thank you. Yes. So one of the things is that right now we are very much into working with the underserved medical population of San Antonio. We take care of a lot of the um, homeless or the patients who may be traveling for one reason or another and don't have a physician here. So I help take care of those at our hospital and serve as a leader for them and being able to provide them the medical care that they need. I'm also, mostly working with the students and some of the research projects that they have locally. We've had students do uh, an outreach program, especially during COVID. We just didn't know what was going on. So one of the projects that we did was with Southwest Independent School District and how to keep touch with basically mental health of the children of the high schoolers. And so one of my colleagues and friends there had a program where our students would provide these 10, 12-minute videos or vignettes based on positive psychology research and provide them for the students to see where they were and how they were handling COVID, especially when schooling was mostly from home. So that was one aspect that we did. So a lot of the community engagement I'm doing right now is working with our students and their projects. We also are helping with Communicare and helping with the Afghani program, where they're actually having a centering program for Afghani patients with Afghani or Pashto translators. They have an ultrasonographer that also speaks the language to be able to provide more inclusive care. And then we also, with our students, have had rotations where we go into the community, have served people who were maybe immigrants or refugees and so forth, and provided help for them in that aspect. One of the biggest key things though that I think that my role is right now is more of a mentorship and helping in the formation of future physicians, and it may be in the role of helping them with their letters for residency, helping them do mock interviews, helping those who are trying to get into pre-med as well, or mentoring high school and college kids. So I take a huge mentorship role with many of the students locally and nationally, actually.
That's great. You know, you've helping them in their journey. You know, helping them overcome their hurdles, their struggles. You know, when I look at you today, Leticia, I see a very fortunate and successful professional. You know, a successful doctor, a strong individual who has everything going for her and achieved a position of privilege in our society. But you've had struggles as we all do, and you had to overcome those struggles to achieve the success that you've had academically, professionally, and as a community leader. And I think sometimes it's important for people in our audience, our student audience, to hear, you know, when you achieve a position of success, sometimes you don't see a person who has had a long journey and who has had to overcome struggles. And I think it's important for us to also remind the students who often look to us as examples that you know we've had struggles as well, and we've had to overcome hurdles, and that may not seem so apparent when people look at our professional persona. So I would love for you to tell us a little bit, Leticia, about your journey earlier and the hurdles that you had to overcome to arrive at the place where you are today.
Thank you, Rafael. So really, there's a saying that says you should never meet your heroes, right? Because you see how much kind of dysfunction happens with the heroes getting to where they are. But yes, I would say that sure, there was tons of hurdles. I'm Mexican American, a first generation. My mother spoke limited Spanish, and my father passed away my senior year of high school. So having to meet those needs and so forth. And I really believe a lot into the work of Dr. Joseph Campbell, who discussed the fact of the hero's journey, and having those call to action moments, and they came many times, but anytime that there was a conflict, I believe have a lot of faith that there was a higher power that would always come through, and there was mentors who guided me throughout all the time, that were there, who were looking out for me, who were opening doors that I never thought were previously available to me. And so those mentors were the ones who actually I'm basically standing on their shoulders, because they're the ones who opened the way, and they're the ones who paved the way for this. And yeah, it was tough. Medical school is tough. I was San Antonio Waterworks. I would call myself every 6 weeks. I was like, I'm sure I'm going to fail out now. This is it. This is the end of my career. However, I still had that fortitude and perseverance to continue the journey, right? Because I was letting so many people were depending on me to be successful. And I just didn't want to let them down. So I just kept pushing forward and pushing forward. And it's like, Lord, lead the way. And that's what I did. And so that's basically my chant every morning. It's like, oh God, give me give me guidance, make sure that everything goes well today. Because as an OBGYN, having to save lives and having to bring life into the world, and you have to have faith, you have to have prayer in your life to be able to say, okay, we need a good outcome. Lord, bless me in this moment, because it's all not going well. So I think having that faith and just having those mentors throughout my lifetime have been able to make me successful.
That's that.
Definitely my family. My family, I couldn't have done it without my mom, just everybody, just a lot of support always.
It's a tough road, right, Leticia? I mean, what you just mentioned, your father passing away at a young age, and your mother being new to the country, really. I mean, it's my mother too, Leticia. My mother spoke limited English, so that resonates with me. And sometimes our students, and even with medical students, I'm sure it's the same way. You focus, the challenges, the curriculum, the chemistry class, the biology class, and and there's going to be microbiology. It's going to be so difficult, and you have to make sure you do the class. But just the fear of failure and the pressure, and that's another part, like that. I don't know. Sometimes I don't know if we emphasize that enough to our young people. It's like, you're going to be able to do it, but you have to stick with it. You have to be strong. You have to wake up every morning believing in yourself, right? And you got to be ready to not give up and know that it's going to be a long race. And you will be able to do the chemistry and the microbiology and today all the technology stuff. But you have to be ready. You have to be ready for that very heavy kind of struggle of, am I going to make it? And to be able to, like you said, persevere for years as you move through what is almost always a very long journey to success. You mentioned Joseph Campbell too. That's another thing we have in common. I love Joseph Campbell. Love his embrace of all religions. And that's also part of us here at UIW, right, Leticia? I mean, I think people, okay, UIW is Catholic. Actually, I'm on my way to Mexico to go travel to our Mexico campuses, and I was speaking with the shuttle driver taking me from my parking lot to the terminal, and he said, what do you do, sir? And I said, well, I work for the University of Incarnate Word. Oh, University of Incarnate Word is Catholic, so do you have to be Catholic to study at the University of Incarnate Word? And do you make students become Catholic? And then we ended up having a very nice conversation where I was explaining to him about the University Incarnate Word, that we're very multi-faith, and we embrace students of all faiths. that, we have Muslim students, Jewish students, students who are still figuring it out, and that we welcome those students to help them through their journey and respect their faith. And Sister Walter Mayer, she embodies, I think, that so well, that embrace of all faiths. And I think that the driver was really surprised to hear that. But for sure, that's who we are. Really, really glad you mentioned Joseph Campbell. So, Leticia, you're Mexican American. I'm Mexican American, and maybe that's one reason we also feel very comfortable at UIW. I mean, we are a Hispanic serving institution here in San Antonio. Again, some people don't know that much about UIW, and they see, oh, okay, well, UIW Catholic, and it's a private university, and it's very exclusive. We're an inclusive university. We look a lot like our San Antonio demographic, right? 52% Hispanic, 27% first generation. And that's not all that we are, but that is an important part of who we are. And Leticia, as a Mexican American, as an Hispana, Mexicana, San Antonense, what message do you have for our Hispanic students, specifically, Hispanic women, Mexican American young women who look at you as a model of success?
So, well, definitely, I would have to say that there was a professor of mine, as I mentioned, different mentors and so forth. I would have to say the Sister Margaret Patrice Slaughter, she was the last sister that was president before Dr. Agnesi was. She took me under her wing from the beginning. And so it was always, there was never anything that was only Catholics and so forth. And it's funny that you bring that up because I was talking to a student yesterday who's interviewing for our medical school, and he's Muslim. And I said, "Oh my goodness, our school is, and we have all religions here, so that's not an issue, and it's not that you have to, genuflect every time you walk into the building, kind of thing. But we are very, very inclusive of all religions, and that's something that's definitely taught from the sisters. Sister Martha and Kirk, all of them have really focused on interfaith, and it's always been that way for, I was started at Incarnate Word in 1990, so I've been with the system for quite a bit, in and out. But I would say, just for everyone in general, one of my professors had this, like, the 7 or 8 P's that he would talk about. And one of them, is, you have to plug into your higher power. You have to be tuned in, tapped into your higher power, because definitely that's the person, or that's the force that's going to move you through life as we know it, and as through our journey. But we have to also participate in life wherever that we are, whether that would be in a local club, in a church, and some kind of group where you participate and be active and be a good civil servant. Be professional at all times. Everyone's watching, especially right now with social media. Super important that you're always professional, because this stuff can come back and haunt you. Be a problem solver in whatever program that you are in. Being a really good problem solver, being able to, instead of creating more problems, find solutions for things. And also be a critic of process improvement. When something is not working, well, how can we make this better? So that's really important, to have that critical thinking mind. Be passionate about what you do and enjoy it and love it. And it's okay to be emotional about it, because sometimes as Latinos, we get boxed in, are you too emotional? Are you too passionate? And sometimes it's not that bad to be passionate about things, especially if it's for the greater good. To have patience. Everything right now is like immediate, immediate, immediate. I think Jeff Bezos ruined it for everybody with Amazon Prime. You can get it in 2 hours, right? So right now, that's a big issue, to be able to learn how to be patient about things. Things are going to come at due time. They're going to come in when they need to be coming in, and being able to understand that and be patient about it, and learning how to be patient. And also, as mentioned, like you mentioned, Rafael, having that perseverance, having that resiliency to, okay, I got knocked down. How do I get back up? Am I going to be taking this as a victim, or am I going to make me stronger, right? Because, what are your learning experiences? Your learning experiences are more when you've been knocked down, and you learn so much more. And so some people say, I think there's a saying by a Spanish philosopher, Baltazar, something about,
Baltasar Gracian.
yes, Baltasar Gracian, who said something about, you know, when you have your enemies are going to be your best motivators in life. This is just paraphrasing, but you're a fool in friends that always agree with you. And so the truth is that those people who give you resiliency, who make you stronger, who make you question your behaviors, your actions, and so forth, your life, those are the people who are going to move you through life. And so that's really important for everyone to really kind of realize and understand that this is all a journey. It's not about the destination. It's just like going through the journey of life, and just really enjoying it while you're on the way.
It's fantastic, fantastic advice, Leticia. You know, we got to do this again, Leticia. Now I know that you've read Baltasar Gracian. There's not that many people who have read Gracian, and you know, because my studies were in Hispanic literature, and then so I did read some Gracian, and I think anyway, but that's another topic that we'll leave. Joseph Campbell and Baltasar Gracian, we'll leave that for another one. Let's do it again, Leticia, because you have so much to share with us, and I know that you're so busy. I don't know how you do it. I mean, I do want to, if you would allow me one more question, is how do you keep it all together? I mean, you're president of, you're still president of Quijotes now, right? You're president of Quijotes, you're teaching, you're practicing. How do you keep it all together personally today?
Remember we started this with, you should never meet your heroes? I would have to say that I have great team members. All of the executive board of Quijotes, they're the ones who make it happen. You know, I just, you know, I'm the head, but they're really the workforce behind it. I have a wonderful husband, a wonderful mom who are super supportive. I have an assistant as well, who helps expand my time so that I can be able to do what I'm doing. And I mean, this is my dharma, this is my call to life. And so I have a lot of expanders and people who are very much support me. So I'm very blessed with that.
Thanks so much, Leticia. You are an inspiration to the students and the people you come across, including me. So I want to thank you for being with us today, for inspiring me and others. And please, if I will ask you for your commitment, let's do this again sometime. And thank you for all the work you do. And have a wonderful and very blessed holiday. And I look forward to seeing you next year, si Dios quiere, if not before then.
Sounds good. Thank you so much for this opportunity and reflection to be able to know that we're doing good things at UIW. And thank you for the Lewis Center for bringing this and making it available for others to listen and to understand.
You're most welcome, Leticia. We'll be in touch.
Thank you.